Hey there, story lovers. Today I've got a hilarious African folktale for you. It's the story of how the tortoise got his broken shell, so grab a seat and get ready to laugh. Once upon a time, in a lush African jungle, there was a very cunning tortoise. Now this tortoise wasn't just any tortoise. Oh no, he was the smartest, most conniving creature in all the land, and he had a shell as smooth as a bowling ball. One day the great sky god decided to host a grand feast in the heavens. Every animal was invited except for our tricky tortoise. You see, he had a bit of a reputation for being, well, a bit of a freeloader, but of course the tortoise had a plan. He went to his friend the eagle and said, "Hey buddy, how about you give me a lift to the feast?" The eagle, being a good friend, reluctantly agreed. So the tortoise climbed onto the eagle's back, and off they flew. As they soared higher and higher, the tortoise's excitement grew, but he knew he had to keep up appearances. So he cleared his throat and said, "Eagle, my dear friend, you must introduce me as all of you when we get there." The eagle, confused but agreeable, nodded. They finally arrived at the feast and the sky god welcomed them warmly. "Eagle, who is this that you've brought with you?" The eagle replied, "This is all of you." The sky god raised an eyebrow but didn't question it. Now, the tortoise, being the sneaky fellow he was, took full advantage of this introduction. When the food was served, he stood up and said, "Sky god, you have been so generous to invite all of us. But, as all of you, I will eat on behalf of everyone." And eat he did. He gobbled up all the yams, guzzled all the palm wine, and polished off every last morsel. The other animals watched in disbelief as the tortoise stuffed himself silly. When the feast was over, the tortoise was so full he could barely move. But he knew he had to get back down to earth somehow. He waddled over to the eagle and asked for a ride back. But the eagle, furious at being tricked, said, "You can find your own way home." The tortoise, now panicking, looked over the edge of the cloud. He gulped and decided he had no choice but to jump, so he took a deep breath and leapt off the edge. As he fell, he shouted, "Everyone, get out of the way!" The animals below scattered, and the tortoise crash-landed on the hard ground. His beautiful smooth shell shattered into pieces. But don't worry, he survived. And from that day on, the tortoise had a broken shell, a reminder to never let his greed get the best of him. And there you have it, folks, the hilarious tale of how the tortoise got his broken shell. Remember, don't be greedy, and always be kind to your friends. Until next time, keep smiling.